Okay, picture a tiara, maybe the one that really sparkles in your mind. You know, the one with those pearl drops, the elegant knots. It's probably the lover's knot tiara.
Almost certainly. It's incredibly famous.
We've seen it on, well, Princess Diana, memorably. And now the Princess of Wales wears it for state events.
Instantly recognizable. A real symbol of the British monarchy, known everywhere.
Right. But hold on. Here's where things get interesting. That tiara, the one everyone knows, Queen Mary's lover's knot tiara.
Yes.
It's actually a replica.
Ah, yes. And that's the hook, isn't it? Because behind that incredibly famous piece, there's this almost hidden story.
Hidden, yeah, forgotten almost.
There's an original, the Cambridge Lover's Knot Tiara, and it existed nearly 100 years before the one we all know.
A whole century earlier.
Exactly. So we're not just talking about two similar tiaras. We're looking at how a design evolves, the symbolism baked into it, and how one became this global icon while the other, well, it took a completely different path. A quieter path, definitely. Navigating through European royalty, continental families, it's quite a journey.
So that's our mission today, and you're joining us for this deep dive. We want to uncover the real story, the journey of the original Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara.
We'll trace it right from its creation.
Through royal weddings, across borders, linking it to, big historical moments. Get ready, because this might change how you see that famous jewel.
And thinking about it more broadly, looking at this original tiara really helps us understand royal jewelry traditions back in the 19th century.
How so?
Well, these pieces weren't just pretty objects. They were commissioned for specific reasons, reflecting relationships, alliances.
Politics, even.
Absolutely, especially through marriage. They symbolized connections between powerful families. The Cambridge Lover's Knot is a perfect example of that.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
1818, there's a big royal wedding.
Right. Princess Augusta of Hesse Castle. Maybe not a household name today, but significant then.
And she married Prince Adolphus, the Duke of Cambridge.
Who was, importantly, a son of King George III. So this marriage brings her right into the British royal family.
A major connection.
Huge. And these marriages back then were often about diplomacy as much as anything else, forging alliances, keeping peace in Europe.
And part of that involved jewels.
Oh, absolutely. Commissioning grand jewels for the bride was standard practice. It symbolized her new status, the bond between the houses.
So Augusta, now the Duchess of Cambridge, needed her own significant piece.
Exactly. And she commissioned this tiara. It's believed it was made in Germany, her home country. We don't know the exact jeweler, unfortunately.
But German craftsmanship was top tier then.
Oh, definitely. Especially in the early 19th century.
And the design itself, what did it look like?
It was very distinct for its time. It had 19 upright pearls, pear-shaped ones, very elegant, very Georgian in style.
Upright pearls, okay.
But the key feature, the defining part, was the pattern of lovers' knots. Intricate knots, and from each one hung another pearl drop.
Lover's knots. That sounds symbolic. It wasn't just a pretty pattern, was it?
Not at all. In Georgian and later Victorian times, the lover's knot was packed with meaning.
Like what?
Enduring love, unbreakable bonds, lives intertwined, that sort of thing.
Perfect for a wedding tiara, then.
Exactly. It visually represented the marriage vows, the union, and also, importantly for royalty, the continuation of the dynasty.
So Augusta wore this tiara as Duchess of Cambridge. It must have been quite special to her.
It seems so. But its story didn't end with her. When she passed away, it went to her daughter.
Also named Augusta.
Yes, the younger Princess Augusta. And her life took the tiara on a different path entirely. She married into continental European royalty.
Okay, so the tiara is on the move.
Big time. She married the Grand Duke of Mecklenburg-Strelitz. So the tiara leaves the immediate British circle and becomes part of this other influential German dynasty.
Wow, so it's now embedded in continental European aristocracy.
Precisely. It shows just how connected these families were. A tiara made for a British duke's wife ends up in a German Grand Duchy. Its history starts branching out.
So this German-made tiara, first linked to Britain, is now in mainland Europe. But the British connection comes back around, doesn't it? Leading to the replica.
It does, through Queen Mary.
Queen Mary, a serious jewel collector.
And someone with a deep appreciation for history and provenance. The younger Augusta, the Grand Duchess, was Queen Mary's aunt.
Right, her mother's sister.
Exactly. And Mary apparently had fond memories of seeing her aunt wear this specific tiara. It clearly made a big impression on her as a young woman.
Enough of an impression that she wanted one for herself.
Precisely. When she became queen consort alongside George V, she decided to have her own version made. That was in 1913.
And she went to Gerard, the famous crown jewelers.
She did. She asked them to make a copy as close as possible to her aunt's tiara.
But it wasn't exactly the same, was it? I've heard there were differences.
Subtle ones, yes, reflecting the style of the time. The Edwardian era preferred things a bit grander, perhaps. Mary's replica is slightly taller, a bit more vertical in its feel, and importantly, it seems it was made with newly sourced diamonds and pearls, not necessarily older stones from the vaults.
Giving it that bright Edwardian sparkle.
Exactly. Fresh, contemporary for its time.
And this tiara, Queen Mary's replica, is the one that became world famous. The one we see in all the pictures.
That's the one. It entered public life in a huge way. Worn by Mary, then Queen Elizabeth II, then Diana.
And now Catherine, the Princess of Wales, it's had a very public life.
Hugely documented, endlessly analyzed. It's become almost the definition of a royal tiara for many people.
Okay, so while the replica is becoming this global star, what's happening with the original? The Cambridge tiara.
It's continuing its journey, but much more quietly, staying within European families.
So after the Grand Duchess Augusta.
It passed to her granddaughter, Princess Jutta of Mecklenburg-Strelitz.
Okay.
And Princess Jutta married Crown Prince Danilo of Montenegro.
Montenegro. So the tiara travels again, this time to the Balkans.
Indeed. It became part of the Montenegrin royal family's collection, witnessing a really interesting and sometimes turbulent period of Balkan history.
A kingdom that didn't last that long, relatively speaking.
No, the monarchy was abolished after World War I. That whole political landscape shifted dramatically.
So what happened to the tiara then?
Like many royal jewels in similar situations, it transitioned from being a state piece to a private heirloom. It stayed with the family.
Not a symbol of power anymore, but
a symbol of their history, their heritage, a deeply personal connection to their past, passed down through the generations. It survived the fall of the monarchy.
That's incredible. So it just stayed private for decades.
Pretty much, until fast forward to 1981.
What happened in 81?
It popped up at auction, Christie's in Geneva.
Wow. That must have caused a stir.
Oh, absolutely, especially among jewelry historians and serious collectors. The replica was so famous, but the original, it had this mystique.
The lost original finally reappearing.
Exactly. It was a chance to see it, study it, appreciate its own unique history compared to the copy. A lot of interest.
So who bought it? Did it go into a museum?
No, it was bought by Prince von Waldburg to sale. He's from a very old, distinguished German noble family.
Keeping it within that aristocratic European world.
Precisely. And he didn't buy it for a collection necessarily. He bought it as a gift for his wife.
Oh, lovely. Who was his wife?
Princess Marie Gabrielle of Bavaria.
Bavaria. So connected to the Wittelsbachs.
Directly descended from them, the family that ruled Bavaria for centuries. So again, the tiara stayed within a family with deep historical roots and presumably a real appreciation for this kind of legacy object.
Like the tiara has its own destiny, always staying within these interconnected noble families.
It really seems that way. It's quite poetic.
And here's the part I find amazing, really brings it to life. This tiara isn't just sitting in a vault somewhere.
No, and that's what makes its story particularly special. It's still worn.
Actually worn recently.
Yes. Unlike so many historical jewels that end up behind glass or get broken up, this one is still a living jewel. There's a photograph from just a few years ago, 2018, I believe.
No way.
Showing Princess Marie Gabrielle wearing it at a private event. You can see it gleaming. It's still fulfilling its purpose as a piece of adornment.
That's fantastic. It really highlights the contrast, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You have the replica constantly in the public eye, photographed at state banquets, part of huge royal occasions.
Under intense scrutiny.
Right. And then you have the original living this quieter life, but still present, still significant within these European noble circles. Worn, cherished privately.
It shows how objects carry meaning in different ways. The replica is this global symbol.
Potent. Instantly recognized. While the original holds perhaps a deeper, more layered history, it's physically passed through more hands, witnessed more shifts in European power.
A more intimate story.
You could say that. A story woven through different royal houses, different countries, surviving wars and revolutions.
So let's just recap this incredible journey. The original Cambridge lover's knot tiara. It starts with a German princess marrying a British duke in 1818.
Made in Germany, worn in Britain.
Then it travels through generations, across borders, Mecklenburg-Strelitz, Montenegro.
Survives the fall of a monarchy.
Reappears at auction, and finds a home with Bavarian nobility where it's still worn today.
It's this original tiara that really carries the weight of that long, complex European history. The original knot, you could say, tying together love, artistry, and centuries of royal connections.
More so, perhaps, than its more famous offspring.
In terms of depth and breadth of history, arguably yes. The replica story is fascinating, but very focused on the British monarchy in the 20th and 21st centuries. The original connects us much further back and across a wider map.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How many other famous things, jewels, paintings, documents, anything really that we think we know, might have these less famous, but maybe even more fascinating originals out there?
That's a great point. Hidden histories behind the icons.
Yeah. What other stories are just waiting beneath the surface if we just, decide to take that deeper dive, something to think about?